the original versus, what we're ending up with.
Do people have questions for Rita? This is the discussion part of the agenda, so.
On the next slide, Holly, is the report I used from the town. So this is the town's report. And we're gonna discuss that somewhat later too, but that's the report I used for the actuals of what we've actually, they've, said we've actually put in the I'm sorry, is it? The 10,947,464. So we'll be putting in an additional 192,000.
Can you go back to the first slide again? So I see the total was 300 and not the reconciliation, the first slide you showed us where we saw the
surplus.
yeah. I just want to see that one more time again.
It's on this. Keep going up, Holly.
Holly, the first slide, yeah.
I think it's right there.
Okay,
Here we go.
Okay. So it's 188,890. Okay.
Would be, yeah, that would be returned to the town.
I'm sorry, I missed the meeting last week, so I just wanted to make sure I was. Okay.
I think the financials changed by about 10 grand. We received an invoice from the town. I think it was originally 391, but this is the final figures. We have no more adjustments or invoices to pay for last year.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or comments on what was presented so far by Rita?
Yeah, so the town had a deficit in the healthcare of 800,000, is that what it, or?
That's the report that they gave us, and that's what they're showing right now, yes.
So they don't put enough in.
Right.
And so how do they pay for it?
That's a good question.
I don't know how to answer that.
Can we go to that page, Holly?
This one here?
Next.
The next one from the town.
That one, yeah.
Well, overall, the fund has a balance of 1.172. The net position on the bottom. So obviously, there's money in the fund to pay for claims.
But we don't know where that comes from, or is it tracked? Like when the town, their reserve versus ours?
It's tracked like this, but yeah, they are in the whole 800,000 this year, but overall, they're saying year to year, they've been in positive. So if you take all of the years of this report, technically they have money.
The net, you're saying, Rita, the net result of the net cumulative result is, despite the fact that they have a deficit this year, they're in the black overall.
That's what Jim and Chris explained to me, yes.
Except if they're not in the black this year, they're not in the black.
Well, that's true. And we're gonna talk about, I think we need to talk about this when we talk about the state partnership plan, Tracy, right?
Yeah, and you can start. You want to?
You want me to start? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all connected. So I spoke with Chuck from Brown and Brown. I reached out to him to get advice on my projections to moving to the state partnership plan. I sent him this report along with, my reports. And he was very concerned about the town showing a Can you go back up to that, Holly? Sorry.
Yeah, Holly, the last screen, please.
So you see how the town's claims went from 2.157 in 22-23 up to 3.6? It's just a huge jump in the town's claims and in the town's medical administration costs. Ours went down significantly. It went from 9.4 down to 7.9. So Chuck advised me to tell you guys that we really need Anthem to do an audit on the claims and whether or not they're being posted to the right account.
And who would authorize that?
I believe we would have to, reach out to the town and we would both say, yes, it's okay for Anthem to do this audit. Has seen it in other towns and Board of Eds that they have 2 groups, but we have about, I don't know, 8, maybe 8 to 10 groups. And he has seen it in the past that Anthem has billed the wrong entity. So if that is the case, obviously, there's gonna be some adjustments on these claims because Chuck doesn't feel comfortable with these numbers of it going down so much without an explanation.
And basically, he told Rita that until we figure out if the claims are being billed appropriately, he's not comfortable doing the disruption of service analysis because he feels like it doesn't make a lot of sense. The numbers don't make sense to him, so he's afraid to do the analysis. So I'm assuming that the board's gonna want us to move forward and try to figure all this out. And I'm guessing the town is gonna wanna know too if they're being billed appropriately. But we can't get the disruption of services analysis done until we address this.
So we would need to take action tonight on that, to say that we as a board want to move forward with requesting this, and also we'd have to request that the town participate in it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense
Correct.
to add that to the agenda.
Yeah, okay. Because we can't really move forward and make a decision on our health and dental transition to the state plan without having the disruption of services analysis done.
That's correct. That's what Attorney Ritter said. She wanted that analysis done, and then she wanted us to go to all the bargaining units, get
Right.
MOUs in place, and then bring it to the board for their final decision. So we can't, without doing the Anthem check on where where the bills are being sent, we can't do the rest of it.
Yeah, the claims just don't make sense. And when he's discussed this with me, I agree with him. When you look at last year versus this year, at the town side and the Board of Ed side, administrative fees usually don't go down. And they've gone up significantly on the town side. So I'm a little surprised that the town hasn't noticed this. But
Not surprised.
but the only one that can do the audit is Anthem.
So,
And-
Glenn,
Yeah,
given the change in leadership in town hall, do you think we can just reach out to Tyler and just do a letter for the chairman? The request this, that we'd rather than have to worry about going through council or hoping that because obviously Jim's not gonna do anything for us at this point. I wonder if the 3 chairmen, if you, Tyler, and I don't know, whoever's the president, the mayor, can just send a letter.
well, we need to take action though as the board saying that we're going to request this, however we proceed with requesting it. And Mark, we can ask the Board of Finance and the town council to vote to move forward on the audit also. I'm just worried about how long this will take, but.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to circumvent waiting for another town manager. Now,
Oh, yeah, well, we don't know how long. It could be 6 months before they have another
I
town manager.
agree with you. I agree with you.
Right.
Rita, in the past, things like this have been done by our agent. Can we not just ask Lockton to do the review?
Well, I asked Chuck, I confirmed with him today who does the actual audit, and he said Anthem, and it shouldn't take Anthem that long as they have all the group numbers and they look at the claims that are being billed under each entity.
Mhm.
So he stated that, I thought maybe we would have to reach out to Lockton. I think Lockton should be involved. I think they should be copied as well. But I think Anthem is the only one that can actually say, we build this entity in error.
Right, and I don't trust many of these people, any of these
Lockton.
parties really that much, but, we have to have somebody do it.
Chuck
Right,
has
well,
said
that's-
this has happened in the past.
Yeah,
That's why I'm thinking, Lynn, that to avoid any sort of delay, I don't know why we couldn't just go to Lockton and say, Lockton, we need you to ask Anthem to do this audit. I don't know that we need to wait for the town and get other people involved.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we need the town's permission.
well,
Because
just-
we have more of the,
Right, I'm not arguing, I agree, this 100%, this needs to be done, and this is just indicative of why it would be lovely to separate ourselves ultimately. I think, most of us are on the same page about that, but what I'm concerned about is getting caught in the rigmarole, if we start writing letters, getting caught in some sort of political stalemate, about this. So I like the idea of us just saying, Anthem, can you go ahead and do it?
I feel like we have the ability to ask them to audit our account, right? I mean, it's our
groups.
account,
Our groups.
right? So the town should know the audit's happening, that we've requested it, but I think we should have the right to do it.
What do people think about that? Just asking them to audit our accounts and see if, and I can talk to Tyler and see if we can get him to request they do it the town accounts.
yeah, I think that's worth a try.
I do too.
Me
And
too.
if there were mistakes, when they audit our groups, it
It will,
could potentially
it will be revealed,
spell it, right,
regardless of
spill
whether or
over.
not they say yes, but it would be nice if they say yes too. Okay. Okay, so we'll add an action item under action C to request Anthem audit our accounts and ask and direct me to ask Tyler to have the Board of Finance request the same for the town.
Lynn, not that I want to delay us anymore, but are we allowed to add to the agenda on a special meeting?
Ooh,
We are not.
we can't, you're right. Thank you.
Welcome.
So we'd have to take action at our, we'd have to schedule another special meeting, like a 10-minute meeting to take action on that, or we could, we'd have to wait until the 14th.
Do we need a board vote, Glenn? Can we
Yeah,
just,
that's what I was gonna say.
don't say what
Can
you
Rita
think.
just request it?
yeah, this is like something that Rita could just request. I don't know that we necessarily,
Right, is it just an administrative function?
Well, Rita could say, the Board of Ed has asked me to do this. And we could have in our minutes reflected this discussion that we're asking them to do that. And at the same time, I could ask Tyler, right?
Yeah, to me, that makes sense, especially since our attorney said that we need to get that disruption of service analysis done, and we can't do that without this audit. So to me, it's all part of the legal advice we received.
Okay. What do people feel comfortable with that?
Oh, yes, let's expedite this.
How about you, Mary? I can't see you on the screen, so I want to make
Yes,
sure
yeah, I think it's
you're
great.
okay. So Mary, Paula,
Tina's joined us.
Brendan, Mark, you're okay?
Yep.
Okay,
My
Thank you.
apologies. I was teaching in Hartford, so I'm late, super late.
hi Katina. Well, we're
Welcome.
pretty far down in discussion right now.
Okay,
So I can fill you in afterward.
no problem.
Okay, so Rita's gonna request that Anthem audit our accounts, and I will reach out to Tyler to request the same from them on the town side. Okay?
And I'll copy Lockton that
Yeah.
I'm requesting this, so. everybody's in the loop.
Okay,
So I know I have my projection there, but I don't feel we need to talk about it until this audit's done.
I
I-
agree.
I had done this packet before I talked to Chuck on Friday and
okay.
found out all this stuff.
So real briefly, Katina, we're just talking about requesting that Anthem do an audit of our health and dental claims to make sure that if the claims are being billed properly, and that the town side, we're gonna ask them to do it too, but we're gonna move ahead without them. Just to, because if they do our side, it will reveal if there are big problems anyway, so.
And Katina, just so you know, this all came about because Rita reached out to Chuck from Brown and Brown, who was supposed to start the disruption of service analysis for us. And Chuck actually is the one that said something is not right about these figures. I think an audit should be done. So that's where this all came from.
That's great. And also it helps with our transparency for the general public and for the teachers. So great idea.
Okay, so are we doing anything more on the state partnership plan update at this point? Or is that on hold until we get this audit done and we have the figures?
Yeah, we have to get the audit done, then the disruption of service analysis, then
Mhm.
the MOUs with the bargaining units, then a board approval in that order. So we have a little work to do.
Okay. So should we go to budget transfers?
Sounds good. Rita, you're up.
So I'm not sure what page it was on, Holly. let me look here. I'm almost there. Page 27 of the budget transfers, it starts on. And these went to finance and audit, these budget transfers.
Right, the finance and audit approved, moving on to the board, so it's just a matter of, we needed the official board vote.
And there's also an additional budget transfer on the last page that is over 100,000. Reference 4A. So this budget transfer is due to GASB 96. It's an accounting statement that came out in July of 23 that we have to separate software over 5,000 and report it. So you may see more transfers like this, just moving the funds into the right account so that we can track it for the town. If that makes sense. So IT had to transfer 108,000 so that they can pay for their software. And like I said, you're gonna see more transfers. It happened in July of 23, so we haven't caught up with where all of these have to be in the right account. Does that make sense?
Did the town audit catch up with any of this?
Actually, I have one copy of the town audit that I'll have to copy for you because it did mention the GASB 96.
Okay.
Yes, it mentions it.
Thank you.
I think it's in the management letter, actually. So I'll have to get you guys copies for the next board meeting.
Thanks. So was there a dollar amount transfer? So you're saying the dollar amount transfer that is being recommended tonight is slightly different than what the finance committee looked at last week?
Well, because this is FY 25 and the previous is FY 24, I think they should be approved separately.
Okay,
And that's why this is on a total separate report, because it's for the new fiscal year.
okay, so the total dollar amount that we're gonna be recommending action on under action items is for,
For FY 24, it's 900,464. And then for FY 25, it's 100,816, I'm sorry, 108,617.
Okay, do people have any questions on those?
You don't have to explain now, but I truly didn't understand the first statement about computers or what did you say? I mean,
So
but
it's basically the Government Accounting Standards Board tells us how to track things. And this was another statement that came out last year that we have to track software licensing over $5,000. And we weren't tracking it before, and now we have to. So that's why we have to move it into the correct account. Hope that made sense.
Does that make sense, Katina? I saw you give a thumbs up, so. Does anybody else have any questions on those things? Okay, if not, then we can move along to action items then. And we really only have item A because we're holding on the other action item, the second action item until we get more information, correct?
No, the second one is to fund the 192,000.
Oh, yes, okay, that's
176.
right. Yes, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve a budget transfer of 900,464 for fiscal year 24.
So moved.
Motion made by Mark. Somebody want to?
Second.
Seconded by Paula, was that?
Brandon,
Either one.
Any discussion?
Either one is fine.
Okay, all those in favor, do you need a roll call vote since it's on Zoom or?
Technically.
Roll call.
Yes, I think we need to have a roll
We,
call.
we should,
Yeah,
okay. Ms. Ide,
yes,
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Haney,
Yes,
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Dr. Galucci,
Yes.
Dr. Cabanoen.
yes,
Thank you.
okay, and then next I would entertain a motion to approve a transfer of $108,617 for fiscal year 25.
So moved.
Motion made by Brendan,
second,
seconded by Katina. Any further discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Ms. Ide,
Aye.
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Haney,
yes,
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Dr. Galucci,
Aye.
Dr. Cabanoen.
yes,
Thank you.
Thank you. And then action item number B is approval of additional health and dental contributions. And we're talking about approving $192,242 for health and dental contributions, correct?
so moved.
Second.
Motion made by Paula, seconded by Mark. Is there any further discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote, please.
Ms. Ide,
Yes?
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Haney,
Yes,
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Dr. Galucci,
Aye.
Dr. Cabanoen.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so since we don't have any other action items on our agenda tonight, I'll turn us to public comment. Is there anybody who wants to speak during public comment? Okay, not seeing any. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at 6 p.m.
I move, we move.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Take
Thanks,
care,
everybody.
everybody.
Have a good
Good
night.
night, everyone.
good night all.
Good night.
Thanks, Rita, for all your work.
Thanks, good night.